What's up, good people? What's up? What's up? We are live. It's time for a pep talk. Now, I know it's been a while, but so much has happened in the month of January. Every time you looked up, something else was happening in the news, social media, in schools, in our lives, and inside yourself. So many things have been happening. And it's time for a pep talk. So as you're driving to work, as you are taking a break, as you are coming out of the building and on your way home, and you're thinking to yourself, I just need to pick me up. I need something. I'm going to try my best to help you out for this week. Now, this pep talk might only give you enough gas for the day. It might only give you enough gas for your prep hour. It might only give you enough gas to get you through your staff meeting. I don't know. But there's a lot happening. And what I'm telling you, if you decided to go into schools, if you decided to work in the community, if you decide to have a family or be part of a family, I need you to be brave. I need you to be brave. If you decided to accept this call of leadership and to act on it, I need you to be brave. The thing is, we're all leaders in some way, shape, or form. And I keep saying that, and I'll keep saying it over and over again. You are a leader. You are a leader. But there's moments that demand you to accept the leadership that comes with the territory. You're either leading others or you are leading yourself. You can't get away from it. The only thing you can do is deny the call. The only thing you can do is not take it and apply it and say, hey, I got it. The only thing you can do is not take the baton. You can drop the baton. So what I'm saying is, so real quick, a few years ago, I heard something that shook me to my core and was like, oh, you need to change how you move. Because as a leader, as a principal, I was in elementary school at this time. And one of the things that I learned, I heard, I felt was this idea of safe spaces. And I created a safe space for everyone in my care. I want people to feel safe, to be who they are, and to feel comfortable enough to really lean on their values and their beliefs, and I want them to feel safe. But I learned that there was a shift coming, a shift from these to brave spaces. Oh, listen to me. We were talking about anti-racism. We were talking about all these things in the schools, critical pedagogy, culturally relevant pedagogy. We were talking about all these different things when it came to shifting the narrative to really serve the kids in our care. We were talking about equity. And we realized that safe spaces wasn't working because people were being super safe for themselves. So the goal was for us to switch to brave spaces. And how do we shift to brave spaces where, despite how we feel, we show up anyway? Despite how scared we are, we show up anyway. We have the crucial conversation. We start to create psychological safety. But being brave means sometimes sitting in something that may have been a bias to you, may have been a blind spot to you, and saying, you know what? I didn't even see that. You know what? Man, I might have missed that. And that's the level of vulnerability that we need. That's the level of vulnerability that I'm talking about. So when we're talking about a brave space, we're not going to be scared to say what it is that we need to say. We're not going to be scared to show up for that child, that student, that scholar that won't speak up for themselves. We're not going to be scared to do it. We're going to be brave. And as a leader, one of your primary duties and responsibilities is to be brave and courageous. And what that means, here's what it doesn't mean. It doesn't mean that you're not anxious. It doesn't mean that you're a little bit timid. You might be a little bit afraid. You might be scared, but you do it anyway. That's where we are. That's where we are. So making this shift from safe spaces to brave spaces is where we are going. It's 2025. January has come and gone, and January has punched a lot of people in the face. A lot of organizations in the stomach. We're talking Medicare. We're talking the diversity, equity, inclusion. We're talking the military. We're talking schools. We're talking nonprofit organizations. We're talking all these different industries have been put on notice by our administration. Now what? There have been threats made to eliminate these positions of opportunity, this movement to be able to say, hey, let's focus on being a little bit more fair. Families are being deported who are not natural citizens here. They're being deported. And there's a fear that organizations are coming to schools and taking children out of schools and deporting them. Most recently, there's been a talk about the elimination of identity-based holidays. What do you mean by that, Dr. McGee? We're talking about Hispanic Heritage Month. We're talking about Indigenous Peoples Months. We're talking about Black History Month. The elimination? Pause on funding, grants. We're talking about situations where tragedies are happening, people are dying, airplane explosions, and the blame is on diversity, equity, inclusion moments. The diversity, equity, inclusion. So as a leader, what do we do? We got to make the shift. We have to make the shift to be brave, to be courageous. And I know you put together a word because the last podcast we talked about having a word for the year. And you might have a word for the year. And if for some of you, I know your word was to be brave. I know your word was to be courageous. And I'm telling you, if that's your word, hold on. Don't forget your word because it's February. But hold on. Hold on to your word. If this wasn't your word, add it. But it should be something that's already in your spirit. It's already a core value. So if it's not the word that you're placing particular focus or emphasis on, it's already a word that's in your core values. It's in your belief system. It's there. To be brave. To be courageous. So real quick, be brave, take risk, and allow the unexpected. Be brave, take risk, and allow the unexpected. Here's what's going to happen when you make the decision to be brave. When you make the decision to be brave, you're going to take a risk, and it's not going to be comfortable. So your comfort level is gone, and your discomfort is going to rise. And you're in the midst of a risk. So you're vulnerable. Here's that word again that we try to run from, especially men. Being vulnerable. Vulnerable, you're open for attack. Absolutely. And we should be doing this in the name of the people we serve. Be brave, take risk, and allow for the unexpected. Be brave, take risk, and allow for the unexpected. So you're going to have to be in a space where you might not have a control. You might not have a level of control. You might not. You're going to have a lower sense of control when you're being brave because you don't know what's going to happen. But you have to allow it. And I don't know who said that, but it was a quote. I found it. I don't know. And that's not our quote of the day. That's coming up. But what I'm saying is, you have to allow the unexpected. Be open to the unexpected. You are a leader, so you're going to have to let go of some control. Now, what happens is when you are in school, whether you are a principal, whether you are a teacher, there's a level of control that you are accustomed to having. You're used to it. You want that control. And I'm telling you, you have to let go of some of it in order to take risk, in order to be brave. But if your vision is in front of you, if you have a plan, if you're strategizing, you understand there's going to be certain areas of risk. You might win, you might not, and you have to be okay with it. You have to allow it. So allow it. Ooh, that's what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. You have to allow it. So leaders, I'm asking you to stand up. I'm asking you to be brave. And for this week, if you can only do it for a week, do it this week. This is the first full week of Black History Month. And I'm telling you, as a black man, Black History Month is serious because when I have a chance to reflect and think about those that came before me, who struggled, who fought, who died, for me to be here, for my kids to be here, for me to live where I live, that's heavy. And I owe it to my ancestors to keep it going in the way that I see fit. And this is the way I see fit, working in schools, families, and communities. So if this is not enough, reach back to those who inspired you. I don't care if it was Tubman. I don't care if it was Sojourner Truth, Shirley Chisholm. I don't care if it was Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, James Baldwin. I don't care who it was. I don't care who it was. Reach back to that person, that group, that experience. Maybe it was the Panthers. Maybe it was SNCC. Maybe it was the NAACP. Maybe it was an event, the Woolworth Sit-ins, Selma, whatever the case may be. Reach back to that and grab that spirit of that time, of the essence of it, and put that on as your armor and move forward. I'm asking you to do it for a week. I'm asking you to do it for the day. I'm asking you to do it for an hour. Whatever it takes, put on that shield of courage and bravery and face what you need to face. Quote of the day. Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. James Baldwin. Not everything that is faced can be changed. You can face whatever you want to face. You can face it. You can face it head on, but it doesn't mean it's going to change. You can go to the Capitol and you can scream your lungs out with your signs and picket, but it doesn't mean it's going to change. You can go riot and tear up buildings and loot stores and break down the wealth of that organization, that company. You can do that. Doesn't mean it's going to change. But until you face it, it won't be changed until you face it. So face it anyway. That's our quote of the week. Be the brave space. Be the brave space for those that are in your care. Be the brave space for your children. Push them to think. Push them to make decisions. Push them to be uncomfortable and handle discomfort. Push them to work a little bit harder. I was having a conversation with my son, and he's 16, and we're getting ready for this whole piece of college. We're looking, and I get it. I get it. There are careers out here, and you can go into a career fair right out of high school. But if you're doing that because you're scared, if you're going that route because you're scared, because we got to go to college. We gotta go to college. We have to continue to learn. High school isn't enough. High school isn't enough. You have to go. And when I'm telling you, when you go to a place like college, a university, yes, it's scary, but you got to face it. And when you go there, you are learning how to think differently, think deeply. You are learning how to grapple with discourse, problem solve in a way you haven't had to problem solve before. For me, it was part of the mission. I didn't have to go, but I wanted to because the baton was passed to me. And what I learned there, I learned the spirit. I learned to have a spirit to fight for those who were not as privileged as I was, who didn't have a voice that I had, wasn't strong enough. And I did it through schools, families, and communities. It's Black History Month. And it's definitely time for us to start to think through who we are, who we've been, where we're going, and what we're doing. I'm getting out of here, and this is the best way to contact me. But what I really want you to do is think about how you are now behaving now that things are in your face. There are things changing. How are you behaving? What should you do? You might need some help with that. That's why I offered the flight assessment. I need to get a button that says flight assessment on here. But flight assessment. I'm telling you, I need you to go and take the flight assessment. You need to take this flight assessment. Flight assessment. The flight assessment is definitely something that I think you need to go ahead and take. The flight assessment. The flight assessment is one of those things where you really figure out how you behave. When you're thinking about challenges and decisions, and how do you best do that? When you think about relationships with people, and how do you best do that? When you are dealing with the changing of the environment, and do you move fast or do you slow down? Do you get things done or do you take your time, analyze, and strategize? Or how do you navigate systems and procedures? How do you deal with the rules? And where do you stay? And what boundaries do you push? It's time, folks. Time for you to start figuring out how best you do what it is that you do. My name is Dr. McGee. This is the Pep Talk. Be the brave space for those that are in your care. Be the brave space. We're moving from safe spaces to brave spaces. And I'm telling you, be the brave space. You become vulnerable. You step in front of that person that's trying to take a kid out of your school. You guard and protect your child from going into dangerous areas or environments. Deep, dive inside. Start to become more selfish. And take care of the people that's in your care. This is Dr. McGee saying, be the brave space this week. I love you. Let's make it a great week. If you can't make it a great week, make it a great day. If you can't make it a great day, make it a great moment. And whatever energy that comes with that, use that to pull you back like a slingshot so you can power forward and then do it again next week. Time for a pep talk. Let's make it a great day.